Hey, Nick, beep, boop, bop, beep, it's me, Griffin, a robot.
You sound a little different today, Griffin.
You said do a robot voice, it'll be a great way to introduce the video.
That doesn't sound like something I'd say at all. What's this game?
This is Nova-111, or Nova-111, or Nova-111.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard anybody say it out loud, and I just kind of went for it. This is a game that launched last week on Steam. I think it was in early access for a while, but it's also out on PS4 now, and it's coming to PS3 and Vita sometime this month.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really neat. It's really cool.
Now, Griffin, right off the bat, is this a real-time game or is this a turn-based game? Which is it?
That's it. It's a fusion of the two. Can your mind even process that?
I can't. So is time moving or is it stopped? It can't be both.
It can, and it does, and it will, and it is. In Nova-111, it is a turn-based game. Most of the components of the game are turn-based. When you move a space, like a lot of dungeon crawlers and roguelikes, everything else moves a space and takes a turn too, and you bump into stuff to hurt it. You can also drop a Polybomb, which, God, we should have called our website that.
Too late.
Instead of, I know, we've already got all the branding. Mm-hmm. So there's this, everything is turn-based, right? Except for when it isn't. There are enemies that will move in real time. There are stalactites that hang from the ceiling that will fall on you in real time. And knowing how to obey sort of the turn-based rules of the game while also not getting killed by these things that are actually moving in real time makes for a really difficult sort of brain challenge.
Yeah, I played this a couple GDCs ago, actually, and I remember the first time I saw a stalactite that was falling. I'm like, that's okay, I'll just get out of the way. I got plenty of turns left.
I got a few turns, but like that, you can use all of that stuff to your benefit. There's all of the systems of the game work really well together. So you can bump into a stalactite and let it fall on a turn-based enemy because they're not going to move. They're just going to sit there and just take the damage. So it's easy to manipulate the turn-based side of the game using the real-time stuff. It's a really genius mechanic, and it's kind of amazing that it hasn't been explored like this before.
Yeah,
here I'm struggling with this enemy. He drops real-time bombs. So they stay there. If I try to move into him to hurt him, then I'll run into those bombs, and that's bad.
Huh. So what is because I noticed a second ago you were on turn 295. What is the structure of this game? Is it levels? Is it procedural? How does this work?
Yeah, there are levels. What's cool is it tracks every time you take a step, it counts as a turn. Every time you do anything, it counts as a turn. It's not just bumping into enemies and moving around. You get these special abilities like that beam that I'm using to knock the spiky armor off those guys. This is a cool enemy that latches onto you, and you have to get up to him really quick or else they'll damage you. But every time you move, you take a turn, and then there are leaderboards based on how much time it took you to get through a level and how many turns it took you to get
so there's two, so it's time, real life time in seconds, and then turns as well.
Right, that real-time turn-based, fusion extends into, the scoring mechanic for the game, too, which is really genius.
Yeah.
It's cool to try and play through. I've gone back and played old levels trying to, beat them as fast as I can, but then I've also, gone through almost golf style trying to find, the lowest amount of turns, the shortest path you can possibly take through the level. I've gotten a phase power up, which lets me pass through walls I can see through. You can also use that to evade enemies, which is pretty cool. There's an exploding enemy that explodes in real time, moves in turn-based, but explodes in real time. This is not very deep into the game. It throws a lot of these different concepts at you. It's almost, I would say, part puzzle game, and learning how to keep all of your enemies straight is probably most of the challenge of the game.
It's easy to imagine later down the line enemies that even early on they start using real-time attacks on you, but there could be an enemy, for example, that just straight up moves in real time and you have to
right there's it's constantly throwing stuff like that at you. This level tosses in these wind tunnels that you can't move back through, and it only takes a single turn to use them, so you can use them to cover a lot of ground. Also, using enemies against each other is really satisfying. That ramming enemy, I just used him to kill all of his friends.
There's some friendly fire going on there.
Yeah, and you get a nice little shout out. But learning how to not let this thing kill you, you can also wait a turn, which sometimes tactically you have to take advantage of. But yeah, I would say part puzzle game is a fitting descriptor of what this game can do, because there's just so many different moving pieces. When I'm using this phase and when I use the beam, it uses a mechanic called science.
Okay.
And science recharges with every time you take a step or every time you wait. So sometimes like this, like you just have to get out of the way and wait. And that means like if you have a lot of beams you need to shoot, you cannot be in danger. So like you can't just rush headlong into a situation. Also, there are tons of secrets to find and upgrade your health and all that stuff. Here's me using the phase to get around a laser blast.
I'm digging this art style. It's very readable, like very, very clear and clean looking.
Yeah, it's really slick. Kind of reminds me of Monsters Ate My Birthday Cake. I don't know if you played that one.
I didn't.
That was a good game. Anyway, this is Nova-111. Things have gotten very thorny for me here.
Look at
in
this
stalactite doom ceiling. I really need to focus on the game, so I'm gonna hop off. Even though I played it a couple hours ago, but I'm still focusing.